After decades of watching Disney's Alice in Wonderland, it finally hit me that it's a story about growing up as a young woman and being ignored by society. Stay tuned and give me a chance to convince you that I'm right. Hey guys, I'm McGann, and welcome to the Fangirl, where no childhood movie is safe. I've always found Alice in Wonderland so confusing and really hard to understand. It's one of those movies that you just have to go with and not care about the logic. Or is it? When rewatching Alice in Wonderland, I noticed that so many of Alice's encounters are trying to teach her lessons about where a woman fits into society. For example, the doorknob is very vague and frankly a headache to deal with. Yet somehow it's Alice's fault for all of the things he doesn't tell her. Like he instructs her to use the drink me liquid, but doesn't really cover that she's going to shrink until she almost vanishes. Then once Alice is small and pretty helpless, suddenly the doorknob is upset with her for forgetting to grab the key. Mind you, the key hasn't even materialized yet, and the doorknob seems to be the one controlling where the key is. But it's Alice's fault for not knowing what he didn't tell her. Next, Alice has to partake in an eat me cookie and ends up growing the, quote, wrong way. She gets too big for her environment and gets chastised for that. Then she's called a problem for crying after she gets picked on for it. The eat me cookies especially seem to have a secondary backhanded commentary to it. You know, women are literally expected to be a size 0 at all times and phases of their life, otherwise their value is extremely diminished. And in Wonderland, the more you eat, the more you outgrow your surroundings until you get called a monster or a problem. If this wasn't intended to be a metaphor for fat shaming, I don't know what else you could call this. Although, you could also interpret the eat me cookies as Alice's adult metabolism setting in, so she has to bid farewell to anything that tastes good if she wants to keep her girlish figure. And, can we discuss for a second how Alice is alone in the doorknob's house, and the doorknob then prompts a minor girl to eat and drink strange items. I am not going to directly state what that implies because this video would get hidden if I utter those words, but I'd say most of us can piece together that a female drinking and eating things that change how her body functions is not a positive thing for several reasons. But finally, Alice gets away from the stupid doorknob and runs into the dodo. And the dodo, for some reason, has the authority to instruct other Wonderland denizens to do very silly things. When Alice tries to speak up with the intention of helping, she is abruptly put in her place because even if you know that someone is doing something in a completely stupid way that doesn't make sense, your sound advice on the matter doesn't matter because you're not the one in charge. Next, Tweedledum and Tweedledee pop up, and between themselves and the story they tell, they really strike me as a warning of being led astray and taken advantage of by nasty men who want something from her. Of course, this is a bit of a harsh reading of Tweedledum and Tweedledee, but when you look at this movie in the context that Alice cannot win no matter what she does, then those two guys definitely represent some, why would you be dumb enough to go off into the woods like that alone with two men kind of mentality. Keep in mind, Western society tends to blame the woman's intelligence over the man's predatory behavior. So yeah, it is a harsh reading of Tweedledum and Tweedledee, but yeah, it also fits into the parameters of what I'm talking about here. Then Alice moves on and gets to the White Rabbit's house, where Alice is immediately assumed to be the hired help. It does demonstrate for us that no matter who you are or what your role is, you are seen as a subservient if you're a woman, and nothing you have to say matters, even when you explain that you're not the help. And even though you're not the maid, if you still don't manage to help correctly, like how Alice bites an eat me pastry and gets too large for the house, then you're a monster that must be immediately expelled or terminated, which makes the moral of that encounter follow your role or be an outcast. Those Those are your two options as women. After that, Alice soon finds herself among the flowers, which clearly represent women in high society as these terrible, judgy creatures. You must either form yourself to be a fitting-in, run-of-the-mill flower, or you get deemed a nasty weed that has to be exiled. Then we reach the caterpillar, where your only value is your ability to speak. And if you slip up and show that, oh, I don't know, you're human and may make mistakes, the result is pompous patronizing. However, when the caterpillar messes up multiple times, he's never hard on himself. So there is a double standard, a different set of expectations that are placed on women. Some more examples. Alice comes across a bird, she grows, rising above her station metaphorically, and the bird yells and screams that she's a serpent, an attacker, someone who doesn't belong there. Similarly, a lot of women have been called horrible names that are all speculative if other women don't like where that girl got in life or how she got there. Next, Alice finds the Cheshire Cat, and the cat watches you quietly. It knows exactly how to help you, but it thinks it's funny to keep you confused and watch you struggle. Alice will not know what I know. I will not help her be her best, brightest self that gets through this maze of a Wonderland. So then Alice ends up with the Mad Hatter and March Hare, and these two create these crazy, nonsensical rules that somehow you're expected to still understand and follow. Alice is also mocked when she doesn't know what the made-up unbirthday term is. And when the Mad Hatter and March Hare get upset over polite conversation, Alice is the one that they blame. So even when a man is downright crazy, he's still right, and the lady must be apologetic and walk on eggshells at all times. Even the glasses bird thingies, whatever those are formally called, they're metaphorically telling Alice, you're not seeing the world right, let me fix that for you. And they do it without asking. So Alice's desires, Alice's consent, Alice's perspective doesn't matter. And we also have the mome rafts, which are those little kind of fuzzy wormy things, and they set Alice on a path to nowhere, acting like they're helping her. So it's like you can't trust anyone to have your best interest at heart. They're always going to lead you astray. But Alice runs into the cards, and Alice tries to help them paint the roses red so that they don't get in trouble. And notice that they're black cards in a town full of red cards. That's something interesting and suggestive there, but I'm not going to really dive into that today. I just want to point that out, that it's an oddity. And finally, the Queen of Hearts. She goes around dictating these ultimate frivolous manners that Alice can't get right. Then the Queen literally puts Alice on trial because the Queen got mad and went off. Having done nothing wrong, Alice is guilty just for existing because another woman doesn't want to let her succeed. These parallels are really striking, but certainly this perspective is probably not what the original writer or creative team at Disney were directly thinking about when they put together Alice in Wonderland. But if you look at how Alice is treated and the fact that it all ends up being a nightmare for her, it does stand to reason that Alice's dream was a stress attack from all the stifling demands thrusted upon her by English society. And yes, before the comment trolls go nuts, let me say that this is a very feminist take on the movie. But why do so many people act like feminism is a bad word? If it hurts you mentally, physically, or emotionally to allow women independence, agency, and equality, then what does that say about the kind of person that you are? It should not bother anyone to have issues like this pointed out, as they are blatantly in every segment of the movie. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed to like Alice in Wonderland. It just means that you can be aware that the film didn't give Alice a fair shake, and that maybe it's time for movies to evolve how they handle female leads in the here and now. It's not an attack on Disney or the fictional character of Alice to say that, hey, this movie didn't age very well, but we can do better in the future. I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.